Hi, so I'm going to be showing you how to do some painting with these 3D butterflies. I'm just going to show you a few that I did first. So this one, it's kind of like an ombre effect, and they just slide apart. And I did solid on one side, and then I did like a pretty ombre on the other because you don't really see the back side too much. So I'm just going to slide these back together, and you can see how I did that. I did use a sponge, and I'm going to show you how to get this cool ombre effect. And then I also did this like pretty like red with the yellow in the middle and the orange, and then on the other side I did orange. So, and then this is another one. I kind of like this color scheme, so I did it again, but just in reverse on the other one that I did. So, and then I did purple on the other side. So, and these ones have legs this time. Some people didn't like that they laid flat on their bellies, so I added legs. So this was a design that I created myself. I have never seen anybody else do it, but I'm sure now that I've done it, there'll be a lot more people doing it. But it's kind of like the same idea I did with my 3D bees. So this is a pink with a purple, and then I did purple on the other side. So there's that one. And then I just saved this last one to paint so you can see how I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and slide these apart, and you can see these slide really easily together as long as you line them up. So they slide in and out pretty easily as long as your material is a standard measurement. A lot of people complain that, oh, they don't fit together right. That is a material problem, not a file problem. As you can see, if you use the correct materials, they slide in and out really easily. This is done with MDF. Most MDF is a standard size. When you start buying wood from suppliers like Home Depot and stuff, those are not really made for lasers. That's made for construction and stuff. So they give you a kind of a ballpark measurement of 1/8, but it's not really a true standard 1/8 sometimes. Especially with wood, it can really vary. They say 1/8, but it can be like 0.164, 17, 14, but standard 1/8 is 0.125. So I do make all of my files in standard measurements. So that way it's universal for anybody buying 1/8 inch material. A lot of times people are saying, oh, these don't fit right, they're too tight. That's because your measurements of your materials are way off. So I can't make them in crazy sizes because then it won't fit for the average customer. So that's why everything is done in standard measurements. So these come apart really easily. So yeah, pretty easy. So I'm just going to slide them apart, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to do like yellow, green, and then I have this turquoise blue. So I thought that would look really nice because I hadn't done those colors yet. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using these sponges, and you just put them on your finger. I got these on Temu. You can get them on Amazon. A lot of places sell them. Probably you can get them at like Michael's or something too. So I'm just going to dip it right into some paint. This is just chalk paint. These are Dixie Belle paints. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start tapping. So I'm just going to tap it right on here, just ever so lightly. You can even tap off if you don't want to start off with too much paint. And I'm just going to go through and tap that paint right on here. And you have to do the same on both sides so they're symmetrical. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint these here. All right. So you can always measure your materials using digital calipers. You can get those on Amazon. And that tells you your material's exact thickness. And some of the cheaper ones only tell you like write down like 2 spaces after the decimal. Some of the more expensive ones are they can go 3 spaces after the decimal. So it's really how you want to do it. I just prefer to always measure my materials before I cut, because then in case your materials are too thick, they won't fit together correctly, especially with these kind of files where things have to fit together exactly. You really need to measure your materials, especially if you're buying your materials from non-laser brands. Like if you're not buying your materials like your MDF or your wood from like laser suppliers like Smoky Hill or Craft Closet, if you're just buying it from like the hardware store, always, always, always measure your materials. So, and also make sure if you're like cutting certain materials, make sure they're laser safe. Some things have PVC in it, and you don't want to cut anything like that on your laser. Like a lot of vinyl has PVC in it, so you have to be very careful what you're cutting, because that gets into your air and it's poisonous. So just be very careful that you're not cutting any toxic materials. So because the laser vaporizes the material, and then it can cause some breathing issues, cancers and things like that. I don't know exactly what it does, but I just know you're not supposed to cut like PVC and stuff on your laser. All right, so I'm just going ahead and painting both sides identical. And now I'm going to change colors. I'm going to grab another sponge, and I'm going to grab some of this green paint. Grabbed a little too much, so I'm going to just tap off a little bit. And I'm going to start painting the next layer. So here we are with the green, and I am like overlapping on the yellow so it can blend. So I'm just kind of going gently into the yellow, just ever so lightly. There we go. And I'm going to take it right to the very edge, because I'm going to blend the next color into this. So there we go. And I'm just going to let that run right out from my sponge. I like these sponges. They're really cheap. You can get a whole lot of them, and you can get more than one use out of it, and you can get quite a few if you wash them right afterwards. I try to get a few uses out of these. I don't like to throw things away after just one use. All right, so I'm just gonna make sure I tap off again. Do the same thing again. There we are. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. And I'm going to gently bring that green into the yellow and blend it. And I like to make sure that the yellow is still just a little wet so that the colors can blend. And I'm just gently tapping. There we go. There. And just making sure that they're about the same. And if they're not, you can just go back, grab a little more of that yellow, and blend it in too. You can blend that right back if you think they're not perfect. And that also helps with the blending too. If you want to go back and grab a little bit more of your yellow, you can go right in here. There we go. I just want to make sure I blend these out really nicely. I like these sponges because they blend your colors and it gives that ombre look. Here we go. Okay, my allergies are killing me today. It's cottonwood season, and it is I'm outside in my garage, and it's a beautiful day, so I'm trying to get outside as much as I can while we have some nice weather. And I got these pretty butterflies. All right, so now that I have those and they're matching on both sides, I'm gonna go and grab another color. And you can just stay with those two colors if you're happy with that, but I want to grab a third color. And I have this pretty, it's like a turquoise color. And I'm just going to hit those edges along the side and just kind of create a nice ombre. And I'm just going to go through and just hit the edges. There we go. And that's all I'm gonna do, is just very, very lightly. And I'm gonna bring that in so you can see that a little better. And it's just very, very light. And I think that looks so pretty. And I'm gonna do the same thing again on this side. And just tapping. Turn it around so my hand doesn't get in the way. And I'm just being very, very light with those edges, because I don't want it to consume the whole thing. There we go. Making sure that they're both symmetrical. And it looks like I need a little bit more on this to bring it in as far as I did on that side. There we go. So there are my there's my butterfly, both sides. And you can see, I really like that. That green really blended that yellow in really nice. And I'm gonna just flip this over. I'm gonna do the other side with that turquoise. And I should have used my standoffs to not have it be so burnt on that side, but I knew I was gonna be painting it, so I'm okay. And I'm using a dark color, so it kind of fixes that. There we go. I really like this turquoise color. It's so pretty. And I'm gonna be very, very light with this because I don't want that to seep through those little holes and have it ruin my other side. So I'm gonna bring it back over. There we go. And there it is. And it didn't affect my other side. So there it is there. And I'm gonna do the same thing again, just ever so lightly, just tap off. And I'm gonna paint this. And these are so much fun to paint. These would be a fun paint night class to do. These are really, really cute. I'm just trying to make sure I don't put that right in the paint. There we go. All right, and I'm not shaking the table too much here. There we go. And once you're happy with it, check it, and looks good on both sides. And I'm gonna let that dry for just a second. Take my little sponge off, and I'll show you how these are gonna look put together. I'm gonna just slide these together. And there's a lot of wiggle room to these because you're gonna have to paint both sides. So there's a lot of wiggle room so they can move a little bit because you have to put paint on both sides. There is a lot of nice extra space to these. I made the slot a little wider so you have that room for the paint. So there it is. There's my butterfly. And I'll turn it over so you can see the other side. And there he is. Very colorful. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. And I really love doing this ombre paint. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you like the new file. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.